Hello there, and welcome to episode 17 of the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. It's good to see you today. How are you? I intend... You know what? No. Nope. We're not going there today, because I say that every gosh damn time, and it never works. So we're just gonna hop right in, hippity hop, get to it, talk about music, talk about playlists and books. So we'll do the music first, because that's generally more appealing to everybody than reading for some unknown reason. I don't know why people don't read. Explain that to me. If I can do it, if I can be like, I don't read anymore, I'm never gonna read again. And then I can start reading again, completely negating anything I've ever said about reading again. Why can't you? Come on, let's change that fucking narrative. But you can leave after we get done with the music thing, because it'll just get boring after that. Before I ramble, before I tangent, and before I do that thing I'm widely known for, let's just talk about music. That's just it. Let's just talk about music. And unfortunately, and not unfortunately, because of all the music platforms I've ever had the unpleasure of using, because I really miss my not my iPod, but my MP3. I had a Sony MP3, and it was the best thing ever. It really was. I really did enjoy that thing. I enjoy having my own music. I enjoy buying a CD, getting it on my computer, and putting it on my iPod or MP3 thing, or what the hell ever I had to do that. Most of my songs on my iPod came from a family member, who I will always be thankful for introducing me to a wide brand of music. Quite frankly, if it wasn't between Rock Band Unplugged on my PSP and then my family member introducing me to a bunch of music by giving me a bunch of songs on my MP3 player, I probably would be still listening to country and only country, which is not a problem. I love country. I still do. I still listen to it. I still listen to Willie Nelson, and occasionally I listen to new music, newer music in the country world, I guess, what's that one's name that recently, Jelly Roll? Is it Jelly Roll who recently has gone country? I think I've heard some new music, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could get behind this. This is good. I like this. Which actually kind of brings me to a point. So I'm going to just do this. We're just gonna... I don't stare at the camera anyway. And we're gonna... You can see my lovely playlists over here, which I think all of these should be, minus a couple of these, should be available on my profile, which you can literally see right here, and see my recently played playlists. I recently created this one because I'm like, if I'm going to have a podcast and my episodes are going to be on a Spotify playlist thing anyway, why not just add one to my profile for easy access? Because I like trying to, as I put it in a Twitter X post, I like being accessible, because I think knowledge should be shared, even stupid knowledge. Knowledge is powerful, even if it is wrong, because if you do not have incorrect knowledge, how are you going to know what's right? Experimentation as a human being requires both bad and good knowledge. And discernment is often key. Let's see. Right here is random crap to like. Duets, don't think, don't feel. Use this one if you need, or if music helps you when you listen to sad music to get over depression and stuff. This one's pretty good on a whatever. If you need something to get you moving and stuff and dancey, this one's pretty good. I cringe to think how many songs actually exist in this one. Oh, that's not bad. It's a 7-hour playlist, so if you want to dance for 7 hours. Oh, and as the aforementioned playlists, not everyone likes country, so it gets its own. And also, it stays out of my likes. It has not been staying out of my likes, which... that's how many likes I'm at now. And I don't mind this, but that's why I started playlisting things. Also, I can now give these to people, so if they have a hard time making playlists, they can use inspiration from mine. Or just use these. Or you can even copy it and take out songs that you don't like or want in there. So yeah, that's cool. That's kind of one of the reasons why I started doing that, because I was like, I could do so much with this shit. Holy crap. So I started playlisting again, because previously I had 0 playlists. Yep, that's right. 0 playlists. And then I had all of those in a span of 72 hours. And then over the course of like a year and a half, I accumulated more, and I'm like, I think I should start talking about these in my writing. I'm already talking about music anyway. Please follow them. They are really useful for me, but I did not intend them to be useful for me. I intended them to be useful for other people. Use them. Abuse the crap out of them. Go ahead. They're just playlists. They don't have feelings, but I do, so don't tell me about your findings, I guess. I don't care enough. But playlists. I have a bunch of those. I have a playlist, I think, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think I wrote about this one in a Spotify playlisting blog thing on my bloggy. On my blog, and it was this thing. Pirate Bay versus the Night Circle versus Norse Gods versus Carnival. At first it was just like one of those, and then it was 2, and then I quickly realized that a lot of music in that like folky, nerdy kind of genre almost like overlap, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna have a Knights of the Round Circle table where there's a lot of people that come together for this. 128 songs later. Most of this, I'm not gonna lie, is probably sea shanties and other stuff. I love this one. But there's like so many other kinds of songs too. So if you're into like pirates or Norse gods, carnival shit, that's a good one. This was the most unsexy title I could come up with. So there you go. If you need, Jesus Christ, if you need this, I highly recommend not playing it when there are children around, because it is not a good playlist. I respect this one. I have to add more to it, because I'm sure there are really good songs for this playlist. Oh, this is a good song. But, yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of community things and stuff, grab your friends and other people who sing or don't sing and do these songs. This one's pretty good. This is actually, I wish I could play the, music for you, but I don't think any platform of which I would post this podcast would enjoy that, so I can't. I can only just show you my playlists. I'm not even sure I can do that, but there you go, my playlists. Leave nothing unseen. Nothing unseen. But, yeah, if you need a playlist, there you go. I don't think I have the ability for collaboration, yet. I might make copies where you can collaborate, or you can just create your own and do with that. Like I said, there's like copy playlists options. For accessibility, we might go over that in a future episode, just because I've been thinking of doing stuff like that, of like showing off what I've learned from other people, or like what I've thought works for me, and just, you know, like true behind the scenes stuff, not like me getting ready for things, but like, hey, look what I can do, because you can do it too, and this is how, and hopefully it works for you better than me. There's a good chance if you're consistent at it, more than likely it will. There are a few things I am consistent at. 10 minutes of music. Yeah, cool. All right. Before we get into the books thing and we lose most of our listeners, who are probably only 3 of you or 5 of you anyway, first, comment time. Comment me your favorite musicians. Where do you listen to music if it's not on Spotify? Am I going to have to start making public playlists on my YouTube for musicians and music? I mean, I can still add my indie artists, so that's cool. So am I going to have to do that? Am I going to have to make a YouTube public playlist for music? I can. If enough of you comment on YouTube, please comment on YouTube. I'm kidding, but that's enough begging. But yeah, no, should I like make a YouTube playlist? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't use Spotify anymore. I don't know who even uses Spotify. Who uses that? But yeah, should I do that? Comment time. Comment your comments and thoughts. Comment your favorite music. Should I write about any musicians when I get back to blogging? I have a few in mind already. I might link them in the bottom of this episode. I didn't even plan that, but I taught myself how to write without looking a long time ago, because I used to write a lot more than I do now, but I've been getting back into it in the years, just like with reading, and I needed to be able to write my poems and stories and stuff that I was thinking about and couldn't get rid of in the middle of class a lot. Sorry, teachers. And I needed to look like I was paying attention while I was writing. So I still have that skill. And I just impressed myself a little bit. So if I seem cocky now, I'm sorry. I don't often impress myself. Good for you, Mars. Good job. Sorry, teachers. I had to write more than I had to learn. I'm sorry. The school system, even when I was in it, was fucking whack, and one of the reasons why I hope I can do homeschooling and private schooling instead of public schooling for my kids in the future. A mix of both would be nice. So they had the formal education feeling, but also the real world, real life bullshit, because that matters. Being stuck in a classroom is not good for people. Before I got into the books thing, I wanted to talk about music history and why music is always such a prevalent conversation in my writing and podcasts. I mean, if you don't know, now you're going to. When I was choosing between writing and music, I ended up with writing because I realized very quickly that music was not something I ever wanted to do professionally, but like as a hobby, or like mostly a hobby. Yeah, a hobby. Along with other things. But through podcasting and stuff, I hope to be able to use my voice better and get better at singing and other stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to actually improve that well. I'm not sure. I often underwhelm myself. I don't know what the actual terminology is, but I trek with music anyway because people create it. It brings people together. It's something that has been around for pretty much the entirety of humanity. It's powerful. It's very powerful, and I hope it is a power I can learn how to use for good. So by learning and growing with it as a lifelong thing and a hobby and stuff, like, I'm hoping it's a power I can learn how to use for good and connect people. And as naive and as too hopeful as it is, I hope we can pave the pathway for being able to sing Kumbaya with each other, because peace amongst people and stuff amongst like that, just, I don't know, sounds nice. It's a fever dream, I'm sure. But I believe somehow, in some way, with the right level of knowledge and experience, maybe we can obtain that. All right, listeners. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to talk book now. I'm gonna have to talk book at you for at least the next 10 minutes, and then it's on to other stuff. Well, I guess you can tune back in, because after the other stuff, it's gaming. I think we can agree that you can tune out. And, I don't know. There'll be a signal when it's time to tune back in for the gaming stuff. To those who care, and to those who want to read, question time. Feel free to answer in the comments or get in touch with me on Discord. I will link my Discord community in the links below. How am I going to go about it, guys? How am I going to go about creating a book club thing? There are like a lot of ways I want to do it, but I'm going to be honest, I started to realize recently that it's not always about what we want. It's actually very rarely about what we want. It's more about what we need. So, what do I need? How do I need to create this book club thing? And how am I going to go about it? How am I going to go about creating a love or a like of reading again amongst the people of this planet? How am I going to do that? Talk amongst yourselves. Get back to me with an answer in, 3.7 business years. Because for now, all I fucking got, pardon my French, sorry. I was hoping I could not hit the explicit on this episode, but I'm going to have to now. Unless I edit it and bleep myself out, but I don't got time for that. The only thing I got is to talk about the books I'm currently reading. And the first set of books is definitely tune-out worthy unless you're into this sort of thing. I don't need to know. None of us need to know unless you feel comfortable airing it out. Clearly, I feel comfortable airing it out because I'm talking about it right now. The Dream Harbor series that I can't stop talking about. I really can't. I have now created almost a TikTok trend. Not really. Only like 1 or 2 people have hopped on it. But I have gotten at least 2 people to buy these books now. Because I titled them Hallmark Smut. And apparently people want Hallmark Smut. I didn't know that I wanted Hallmark Smut. I wanted Hallmark. The smut, I guess, is a cherry that I didn't know I wanted. It's like, oh, hey, a cherry. Neat. At least in 1 or 2 of the books. In one of the books, it was a bit much. I was like, please stop. You're killing me. It hurts. I don't want this. I want the Hallmark and the cozy and the seasonal, not the smut. See, the reason romance books bother me, and it's actually one of the reasons why I try to write it more, is I'm trying to like figure out what I like in romance smut books, and also I guess just in general, because personal reasons we won't get into in this episode. But my allergies are horrible. I'm sorry. I keep sniffling at you. But yes, I let's reel it all the way back. I've been missing the Hallmark Channel every October through November through December. And it's actually something that I like kind of used to look forward to on Hallmark, was the Christmas and like holiday movies, because even though they're all very predictable, and sometimes it's a game of what bingo cards can you check off, because, you know, there's usually a dog or a cat. Someone's from the big city moving to a small town. You know, there's that trope going on, and it's cheesy, and sometimes it's good cheese, sometimes it's you know what to expect. It's cozy-ish. And I was like, I don't think I can, like, I hear recently I've been like, I don't think I can go back to TV, because I have mostly subscription-based services where they all have the ads, and YouTube has ads. Thank God Spotify doesn't. I would lose my shit. But yeah, I can't do commercials or advertisements anymore, because they're not commercials anymore. Nothing is a commercial. It's all an advertisement now. I started realizing that, and I'm like, oh no, even my commercials have changed. So I am now on a ban all ads and commercials forever tangent in my brain. And I was like, maybe instead of going back to the Hallmark Channel and paying way too much for cable TV, I can read it instead. So I started looking for books that might fit the bill. And I don't like getting spoilers. Like, I mean, I don't mind spoilers, but like, if I'm like seeking something out, I don't want like a background. I don't need the lore right away. If I end up attaching to it, I'm like, okay, now is the time for the lore. It's not, oh, I must have the lore before attachment. No, I need to be attached before I can have the lore. Before the lore is accessible to me, until I'm like, oh, I should probably dive into the history of what and how and who and when and why, and again, how and who and what and when and why. But, no, yeah, I ended up like kind of getting surprised, because at one point I remember reading the first book, the Dream Harbor series by Laurie Gilmore, by the way. I ended up later finding out is definitely a pen name, but it's this one human who I guess liked the Gilmore Girls. I don't know that show very well. Maybe I should give it a watch because it was popular, but Laurie Gilmore is the pen author for the series, and she always wanted to create a little series kind of like this, and each book is like independent, but you can read it like as like a series, but also by themselves and like out of order. I didn't want to do that because I kind of liked that it was a series that I can now pick up whenever I want, just out of random order. Oh no, it's like rewatching Hallmark movies knowing what's gonna happen. I fell into another trap. That's fine. This is a trap I'm okay with. But it's a good series. Another book is coming out, I think, in September. Book 5. I think it's going to be a 5-book series. And once I started realizing in the first book that it was going to be that kind of book, I was like, oh no. And then I got pleasantly surprised, because it was like, as I said earlier, I'm really picky about my romance and my smut. I'm really picky. Like, It's one of the reasons why, adult content aside, I just, it has to be more realistic than fantastical to me. It's really hard to explain. I kind of just have to be like, here, read this instead. To give you a painting. Like, it's not like I don't do fantastical stuff in my own writing of like romancy based smut, but it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain without being inside my brain, so I'm just not gonna bother trying and hope that you just get it. So this series I appreciate quite a bit, and I've gotten 2 people at least now to purchase it, so that's cool. That's cool. I feel happy that I might have actually accumulated my own sort of book club without trying too hard. Did I try hard? I don't know anymore. Now I have imposter syndrome. Now I'm feeling like I didn't do anything, but rather influence or manipulated people in a way that just pleases me. Great. Fantastic. I'm gonna have to deal with that one later. Please tell me you got the books because you wanted to and not because I made you. I dislike feeling like I push people in directions that don't align with them. Probably my biggest problem is withdrawalment. I will withdraw almost for any reason, especially if I feel like I'm getting in the way. So the second book series, or not book series, but the second book that I recently just finished that I actually, I did talk about before, I know, I'm sorry, but it was such a good book, okay? It was a really, really good book, and I will admit it actually had a lot of influence on me in wanting to write my book more, because it had a lot of chapters. Some of the chapters were really short. It reframed how I thought books should be written. I was like, wow, that was a short chapter. Wow, that's formatted in an interesting way. I started realizing I don't need to conform my book and formatting and everything to a simple box. I keep finding points and other stuff where it's you want to publish this way, and you want to do it that way, and you want to do it this way, and you want to pay these people, and you want to pay those people, and you want to do that, and you want to do that, and you want to do that. And I'm I don't want to do any of that. None of that. I want to do very specific things. All right? Very fucking specific. It's very, very specific things, because this is my project. I am not to be micromanaged by anyone else. I micromanage myself enough. Thank you. So, I don't know. It was a good book. It was well written. James Patterson. I am going to end up reading another book by yours. So if any of you have read his work, or know of people who have read his work, and you have heard of a book, comment below. I wonder if that'll work. Will that as subliminal messaging work? For more comments, please? I'm on my phone enough. I might as well be engaging in comments. Please? And that is enough begging. No, actually it's not, because in my today's topics, I actually wrote more notes this time, guys. Check it out. I said, how to support your host. Now I have to talk to you like a human being. Human to human. And I don't like this part of anything, of branding, of writing, of photography, of social media marketing. I hate this part, actually. I don't hate it enough to outsource it and bought it, but I hate it because it's like, I don't know. There's a fine line between asking too much, manipulation, and a lot of other things. And then there's nuances. I already have a couple of wish lists out there somewhere. One of them I know for sure, and I think is on my Linktree, is my Amazon book wish list. That's one good way. I'm going to be starting a new wish list primarily for the brand and the podcast. Things that would help the production and the future and whatnot of this. And I'm not in the business of like asking for things and not doing something in return. And I know like people and myself, I guess, have a problem with transactional things. But I was not taught really to accept gifts. I have a problem with gifts. So this is going to be a practice for myself. But I am going to be creating that wish list, and by the next podcast episode, which will be Thursday, I will have it up and ready for you to browse and go over. And then there's like the other way that I'm going to be linking in this episode, and it's, I think, permanently linked in my Linktree before I get a website thing, is again, I hate this part, and which is why I'm probably not going to talk about it that much. Write about it, yes. Talk about it, no, because I'm uncomfortable right now. If you like any of the episodes and you, I don't know, if you like supporting or showing your appreciation or whatever, I have my Cash App and Venmo thing up and available, and you are welcome to tip me anytime for any reason. I don't want to like just ask ever, because it like feels weird, so I'm not gonna like do that, but I am just gonna remind you that those things are available for your leisure. You are welcome to do so whenever. It takes a village to like do things, and I do recognize and try to remember like those who support and help and are here and there, and just thank you in advance. And also, yeah, thanks for just even viewing this. Like, that's like the best way to support me, truthfully. And I know I need to like eventually get comfortable with like monetization and like actual support and like stuff like that, but like, well, not like actual support, but like the continuous flow of like people being like subscribe or whatever, because at some point, if I do this enough, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. It's happened for like a lot of other people. It might happen for me too. I don't know. I really don't. I'm just doing this because I want to. And that's like why for me, like at any point, like just talk about this. Talk about how I'm trying to connect communities of all types together. Talk about how I like writing about musicians who are up and coming, or just need someone to praise their work a little bit, because we all need someone in our corner. Talk about artists and families who need someone to root for them. Like, let me get to the people that might need an amplified voice. I know I'm just one, but hopefully eventually I can amplify all of our voices. That'd be cool. Talk about how I'm trying to build community to people. Talk about it. Share my episodes. Like, make clips. Quote me. Like, heck, even bad press me, I guess. I don't care. I ended up with 10,000 followers on TikTok almost overnight because one of my drafting dance videos went viral and people were like stitching it and being mean. You cannot bully me any more than I have already been bullied most of my life or by myself. So, I'm not saying I don't have feelings and I'm not human and it's not going to get to me, but I'm better equipped to handle it than I used to be at one point, so go for it. I don't care. Just be yourself. Just exist as a human. Just do what feels right to you, as long as it's not like damaging property or physically, especially hurting people, because that is just not cool. Getting in the way of people's free will or freedom is pretty not good. Pretty not good. That is the most eloquent way I could have thought to say that. Good job. Good job. You should probably go work on your stupid book. Aha. Finally, video games. And now, video games. What do you like to play? And what was the last game console you ever played? For me, Switch. Nintendo Switch. Specifically the OLED, because when they announced it and they were like, better screen, speakers you can actually hear without having to try too hard. I was like, wait, what? So when it came out in stores, I went to the store and I held it in my hands in one of those weird display things, and I was like, I tested out the sound. I was like, oh, that's, Looked at the screen, I'm like, oh wow, that's nice. Joy-Cons were kind of nice. I was like, I could get used to this. Ended up getting one. It's been strapped to my hip sometimes, especially a little bit lately in between like writing and stuff for this, and mostly because of the Alice in Wonderland update for Dreamlight Valley, which I've talked about recently. I know, I'm sorry, it's still on my brain. It's not a good game. It is not the best game in the universe. It is not No Man's Sky. It's not Minecraft. It's not even Animal Crossing New Leaf. Or Wild World. It's not The Dog Island. It's not Okami, which we're finally getting a second one. It's not The Sims 3. It is a very specific game. It is made by a very greedy game company. But where there is greed, there are also people who are not greedy. Or at least they don't display it in large depth. Or such large, massive depth. That's why I like writing, because I don't sound like an imbecile. I don't sound dumb. Actually, I do sound dumb. I take that back. But I don't pronunciate things in such a way that makes me feel dumb. I can read the pronunciation instead, which I should... Interesting. Okay. If you can't tell, I often think about things as I'm thinking about other things while talking about things while also talking about other things. It's a constant thing. If you've been here for 17 episodes by now, you should probably know this. Maybe. If not, I'm sorry. Welcome to the chaos. It's sometimes calm, I promise. But yes, it is not a good game. But Dreamlight Valley has captured my attention for at least the next 20 days. And I'm kind of remembering why I like it while I'm playing it, especially after I downloaded an app to help me play it. But at the same time, because I've been jumping between that one and No Man's Sky, and I've been inching my way back towards Roots of Pacha, but jumping back to No Man's Sky and playing on my new save, because I was like, it has custom save options where you can like mess with like the combat and stuff, and I don't like the ground sentinels. If you know the game I am speaking of, you are awesome. Congratulations, Traveler. I'm still learning the lore. There's a lot of lore. So much lore in No Man's Sky. And it's such a small team created it too. That's why I give it so much attention and like energy, and why I want to give it more. It's not a game I can just play for like 30 minutes here and there. It's something you have to play for like at least an hour or two. Unfortunately, I don't always have an hour or two to just sink into games. That's why Dreamlight Valley is the best at the moment. I haven't gotten stuck on Wally's Garden in a while, but I haven't really been picking the vegetables from there very much, so I'll take that as a win. It is currently still just a decoration piece, but oh well. I am honestly just tired of writing to Gameloft to fix their game. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to almost every other time I play a game. I should not have to report a bug. That's just how I feel. I feel like every now and again after updates, yeah, sure, that's what the reporting a bug is there for. But every time something happens in the game, repeatedly, and this is why I have a hard time with major game developers who make so much money making incomplete and broken games. I will admit, Dreamlight Valley as a game and as a company and as an technology, I've learned a lot about the gaming industry, a little bit more. I used to try to make games through Wolf RPG Maker, I think, because for a while I was watching Markiplier's like pixel games, Mad Father, The Witch's House. There's a couple others, but those are the two I remember the most. Oh, My Big Sister. There's a couple others and stuff. Those are the ones I remember the most. They're like haunted, scary games, pixel based, and like RPG sorta. But keep a counter of how many times I say "but" in this episode, just for fun. Just use this episode as a drinking episode if you drink at my expense. Anytime, well, I guess at both of our expense. Although, then if you get super drunk, I would feel bad because I would say those words a lot. And that could be bad for some people. You know what? On second thought, don't do that. I rescind what I said. I can't exactly rescind what I said. The internet's forever, but I didn't mean it. I was joking. I'm sorry. I had some time to think about it and I changed my mind. But yes, I used to make video games, or like I used to try to. I had like written out ideas and concepts, and while I was in school, I used to get the I forget what they're called, but I used to get like the furniture icons and other stuff to like build up the game world a little bit, so it wasn't just a character walking on air, tiles and other stuff like that. And also the free and available game sounds, because you can't have a game without sounds. I actually ended up realizing, I was like, oh shit, I should probably... And then once I got to that part and I realized that that was what it took, as I needed to add sounds and stuff, I was like, you know what? Let's leave this to the professionals. I don't think game design is in my future unless it is a hobby or I am strictly a writer for it. 'cause or a voice actor, that'd be cool, but that is it. That is all I can do. I might be okay at designing. I don't have the passion for it to turn it into like a long-term thing or even a hobby, really. So all you guys, have fun. And hopefully one day I have enough money to create an open source like area where humans can gather to build actual good games. And we can probably squash and destroy all corporates. That's a joke and an homage to Destroy All Humans, which I don't think I played in a while. But yes. Damn it. No! Sorry, I am apparently having a moment. If I had the will to edit and cut and add fancy things, I would probably have like one of those like technical difficulty screens with the annoying ass beep sound. But nope, you're getting raw footage of me almost live, but not really. So if you're on a video portion of this episode, I know, attractive, right? Joking. As I've stated before, when it comes to the internet, I do not care about looking good for it. I don't care. I simply don't. It is like the requirement, but until I have more of a following and maybe I'm making some sort of an income or whatever, like, I don't care. This is just for fun. This is just for me. Eventually I might start caring a little bit more. About that much more. But until then, you get Gremlin, Trash Goblin, everything's on fire and always a train wreck all the time version of me. Congratulations. Started from the bottom and I don't know where we're gonna end up. Maybe the top, maybe somewhere in the middle. Have you ever wanted to make games? If you have, how far have you gotten? Did you get as far as I did, realize that making a game by yourself requires a lot of time and attention that you just simply don't have, and you were like, I need friends. And then you found those friends. Is that you? Did you give up simply? Would you be interested in a world where we could eventually have an entire community dedicated to game designing and or movie production? Now that I'm starting to like have building blocks and I'm starting to see things just in communities that I'm in and communities I've been trying to build, I'm understanding something. That some of the dreams I had, film directing, director of photography, film writing, game design, like those aren't impossible. I can still achieve those one day with the right money and knowing the right people. Because in this world, it is about your connections, who you know, what you know. And it all comes back to, it takes a village, community, and I was a denier of that for so long. I would say up until very recently, actually. I wouldn't say I was a denier, just that I needed that. I got used to doing things by myself. Too used to it. And that's not how people work, especially if you want to achieve anything cool or awesome or neat or unique. You need people, and people need you. So here we are. For better or worse, I guess. Which almost sounds like marriage, but I promise you it's not. We're just here, whatever outcome happens, and trying our best to connect and communicate and exist and experience giving you my time and you giving me yours. I don't know how often I've talked about it, but before I go on to the next guest, and this isn't in my notes, but I need to start talking about my time and other time. So it didn't take me long to figure out what I wanted to do with this. And this goes back to earlier's conversation of how it's not always about what we want, but what we need. And I didn't really think about what I needed out of what I'm doing and why I'm doing and what I'm doing. So when I did start thinking about that, I had already had time teach, inspire, motivate, and entertain for a while. Let me give you my time. Let me teach you, inspire you, motivate you, or at the very least, if I can't do those three, let me entertain you. Because at the end of the day, if you smile or laugh, then all of this was worthwhile. If you learn something or motivate yourself to do your own projects, that would be great too. But I thoroughly expect I'm going to be more of a joke or more of an entertainment than an inspiration or a motivation. So, or a teacher. But at least I'll try. And then I started thinking about what giving my time meant. Like, what would I need out of it? And by giving my time, what I'm getting in return is traveling. I've gotten to see other things because of people. Things that I probably... No. Things I most likely never would have seen without other people. Things I never would have seen without other people. And despite feelings and differences and enemies and everything like that, I don't want to have enemies in the world. I don't believe in enemies. I believe in strangers. I believe in loving people from a distance, especially if it's safer for the both of you. But I don't want to believe in enemies. That doesn't feel progressive, having hate and enemies. It does not feel good having enemies. Like, it doesn't feel good being someone's enemy, and it doesn't feel good having an enemy. As I've said in other episodes before, hopefully we all want love and peace and harmony, at least in our own worlds, and I could hope that we would want that for other people at least a little bit. And it takes work to do that sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. I completely lost my point. Oh, traveling. I've gotten to see things because of other people. I've gotten to learn things because of other people. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't memorize that part because I don't, as I've said, I don't care about what I need. I don't even necessarily care about what I want unless it's to, like, better myself and other people. Like, wanting a family, wanting love at the end of the day. Like, if I die without those things, I've had those things in other forms, I'm okay. Wanting a house or cabin in the woods, wanting to actually see the world. Like, if I don't have those things at the end of the day, I had them in different ways and I'm okay. But the non-negotiable is leaving behind a better me in a better world. So I'm struggling to remember the version of time that's for me, other than travel. Investigate. I like being able to experience things and investigate things, figure things out, get more questions answered. I sometimes regret not going into forensics out of high school, but at the same time, I also knew after a lot of contemplation that path wasn't for me. Maybe as a hobby. Maybe I'll be a private investigator in another way. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have friends who are private investigators. I don't know. But investigate, travel, investigate, meet and make. So I've gotten to meet people, I've gotten to make things with people, make things for people. I've gotten to work on a film for Scottsdale Film Festival before. I've gotten to photograph for the March of Dimes in Phoenix, Arizona, or I think it was Tempe, rather. Mesa, I don't remember, it was a long time ago. I've gotten to do a lot of interesting and unique things that wasn't for time, wasn't for other people, wasn't for making things for or with other people. And then the last thing is experience or explore. I like the explore part because there's so many things to uncover. From the natural landscapes to rural cities, or rural towns and suburban cities. There are so many things to see and understand and experience and perceive. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for, perceive. And no one is going to have the exact same view. Unless you, like, share the same eyeballs and, like, the same brain and the same, for lack of a better understanding, soul. You're not going to have the same experience. Similar, maybe, but never the same. I think that's where empathy and understanding come in. But there's also nuance to that, too. It's exhausting how much nuance there is to everything. I understand why people prefer to live simply. I do. I really do. But I've tried. I can't. I keep trying. I can't. The final thing, and then we'll wrap up. The next guest episode, I actually need to talk to them. The actual note is, next guest, need to hit them up. I really do spend too much time online now. I'm canceling my internet subscription. I forget what I said the other day when I said I'm not going to cancel my internet subscription in that one comment section, and I saw a cute video. Nope, I'm canceling it. I don't care how many inspirational and adorable videos are online. I said hit them up. What am I? I'm certainly not a linguist. I'm certainly not a scholar, because scholars don't say those words. They also don't say jazzy, and I've said that. They also don't say Liddy City, and because of a podcast I listen to, I say that now. Yep, canceling my internet subscription. Bye, guys. See you never. But yes, I'm I am going to be scheduling my next guest episode soon. It's not going to be in person because I decided setting up another microphone and doing things in person right now scares the shit out of me, especially the one-on-one. So I'm not doing that. It is only groups and internet-based things for now. I am very weak for that, but there are things that I'm working through presently that make that the way it is for now. So expect that episode soon. I'm probably going to have an answer most likely before the next recording of the next episode, which means it might be here sooner than you think. Sooner than I think. Who am I kidding? I am being hopeful, but we shall see what happens next. And with that being said, Thank you for tuning in to episode 17 of the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. It was nice to hang out with you today. Hopefully you'll come back for another one. And until then, and if not, as always, humans of Earth, please keep going. Do not stop. Bye.